So My Hero Academia has a lot of interesting characters, right? But not all of them are in the My Hero 1 Justice series. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we're doing another episode of the How They Can Work series. In this series, we look at characters that are not My Hero 1 Justice 2, and we try to break them down to create movesets for them, so hopefully one day they will become a playable character. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about 9 from My Hero Academia Heroes Rising. So he was the main villain in that movie, and let's just say he's a really intimidating character. Like, he's a really intimidating villain, a really powerful one, and I think because of that, he would make an awesome character. Also, just letting you guys know that there are some spoilers from the My Hero Academia movie, My Hero Academia Heroes Rising. So just in case you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to be spoiled, I just want to let you guys know that there are some spoilers in this video, so just warning you just in case you didn't want to be spoiled. Now with all that out of the way, let's begin the video. So in the My Hero 1's Justice series, each character usually has a normal attack, a red attack or an unblockable, a yellow attack or an armor attack, and they also have a quirk 1, a side quirk 1, a quirk 2, and a side quirk 2, and they also have a plus ultra level 1, 2, and 3. But in this series, we don't look at the normal attack because it's usually just the same punch or kick, and we don't look at the plus ultra level 3 because it's just 3 plus ultra level 1s combined into one big attack. So we only look at the unique things in this series. So yeah, that's how the series works. So let's just dive into this moveset. So 9's quirk is called, I don't even know, he has 9 quirks. So basically the whole premise of 9 is that he's kind of like a mini all-for-one, and he can steal quirks, but he can only hold up to 9 different ones. So we've seen some of his quirks, but he doesn't really have like a main quirk to my knowledge. He just has 9 different quirks. I forget which one was his original one. I think it was weather manipulation. I think that's was his main one, but or like his original one before he went through like the experiments and stuff like that would give him like the ability to steal the quirks. But in reality, to my knowledge, I'm just gonna list off the ones off the top of my head. He has laser fingertips, air walls, weather manipulation, the ability to steal quirks, the ability to scan your enemy, the hydras, and there are probably some other ones, but those are just some of the main ones we've seen. So basically, he's just a mini all-for-one. He can steal quirks and he can hold up to 9 different ones, so he doesn't really have like a main quirk, you know, he's got 9 of them. So we're going to try to make a moveset around that, basically. So starting off with this quirk 1, I have labeled Piercing Laser Strike. This is where he fires 5 lasers from his fingertips, and basically the move is a medium range attack, and if the lasers hit the opponent, they will pierce the opponent, with each laser doing damage, but also allowing enough time for 9 to run up and start a combo, or continue a combo, or finish a combo. It's kind of like a ranged rapid jab, basically. And if you hold and charge the quirk special, instead of the lasers doing piercing damage, they will actually explode instead when they either hit or miss. And if the lasers hit and explode, the explosion will knock the opponent into the air. And if the opponent isn't directly hit by the exploding lasers, but are still in like the blast range, the explosions will knock them back. So basically, the explosions have two kind of like effects. If it hits directly, they'll be launched into the air. If they don't exactly hit the opponent, they'll be kind of like knocked backwards if they're still like in the blast radius. So I think this is a cool quirk 1 because basically, first off, it's good for combos because it's like a ranged rapid jab normally, but you can also hold it down and change it up, and that would be good for a different type of combo if it can hit directly and stuff. So with this quirk, you kind of get like 2 different combo routes and stuff, and I think that's pretty awesome. And it's also like a reference to one of his quirks, which is the laser fingertips, so that's also pretty cool to see, and that's why I think it's a solid quirk 1. Moving on to his side quirk 1, I have it labeled I Can't Take It. This is where 9 grabs the opponent by the face and throws them upward. So the move by itself, by like detail, isn't all that crazy because, you know, it's just kind of like a combo attack. It's just used for combos and stuff, but like in the game, in my mind at least, I think the animation would be pretty cool because it'd be a reference to the time you try to take Deku's quirk in like the forest, where you kind of like grab Deku by the face, but instead of it like failing because obviously he couldn't take Deku's quirk and stuff, and it exploded and stuff, he would actually just throw them upwards. So like the animation would be kind of like a reference to the time he tried to take Deku's quirk, and overall I think it'd be a pretty cool side quirk 1 to see, especially in like combos and stuff. Moving on to his quirk 2, I have it labeled Stand Aside. This is where he puts up an air wall that blocks all projectile and physical attacks except for red attacks, and if you hold the button, he can kind of like hold up the air wall for defense, but eventually it will break if it gets hit multiple times. And if the opponent uses a physical attack to try to break it, you can actually release the button and he will drop the air wall and basically turn it into an air blast, which will knock the opponent away, and that can actually cause a wall splatter as well. So I think this move is really awesome because first off, it's a defensive move, but second off, it can become like a physical attack, because if the opponent tries to like attack you with a physical move, then you can just turn it into an actual attack and knock them away and stuff, and I think that'd be pretty cool to see. Not to mention, it's a reference to another one of his quirks, which is, you know, the air wall and stuff. And we've seen in the series, or not in the series, the movie, he can actually use it for defense and also offense. So I think this move would be perfectly translated into the game, because it gives him some defensive playstyle, but also some more offensive playstyle if they get in close. So I think this is a pretty cool quirk too. And moving on to his side quirk 2, I have it labeled Hydra Slam. This is where he summons a Hydra from his back really quickly that goes over his head and will grab the opponent in front of him. And basically the Hydra would slam the opponent into the ground, which is really good to end a combo because it does good damage, but you can't follow up after it. But there's actually another thing you can do with this attack. So if you hold the button, you can actually turn it into a red attack, and if it is a red attack, it can cause a ground splatter instead, so you can continue the combo, but it doesn't do as much damage. So with this side quirk 2, you have two different options. You have it normally where if you're doing a combo and you want to end a combo, you can do it so it does extra damage, but you can't follow up after it. Or you can do the red attack version and basically continue the combo a little bit longer, but it doesn't do as much. So I think that's a really cool kind of like gimmick, because we've seen certain characters have like a grab, but then if you hold it, it can actually become a red attack grab, but usually it does the same thing. This one actually has two different variations where the normal attack finishes a combo, but the red attack does like the same animation and stuff, but it actually can continue the combo, but it won't do as much damage. So I think that's a cool side quirk too, because it's really unique. And also it is kind of like a secondary red attack you can use to start a combo as well, because if it does cause a ground splatter, that's just a good way to start a combo and stuff. So I think that's a really cool side quirk too, and just some combos I thought you could do, because, you know, I do think about these kind of things. I actually did come up with some combos. You could maybe do his charge quirk one, which does the laser explosion, and basically if it's on direct impact with the opponent, they get knocked into the air, so you can use the Hydra to slam them back into the ground. Or you can do the same with the side quirk one, where he throws them into the air. You can also do the same thing with the Hydra, slam them back into the ground. And that's just some basic combos. Obviously, you can probably do more with the other quirks involved and stuff, but those are just some ideas I had, and I thought that would be pretty interesting. And also, again, I think it's cool because, again, it's a reference to one of his quirks, which is the Hydra and stuff, and I think the animation would be pretty cool to see. Just a Hydra come out of his back really fast and slam the opponent into the ground. I just think that'd be really cool to see. And moving on to his red and yellow attacks. For his red attack, I have it where he'd just do a punch, but like it would be a really cool animation with the punch and stuff. Like maybe like purple electricity would come off of him when he does it, or something like that. Just a really cool looking punch. And for his yellow attack, I have it where he would kind of like use his air wall, but he would aim it at the ground and create like a small explosion around him, kind of like Gang Orca, just a little bit smaller. Because in the movie, we've actually seen him do that, where he was just, you know, aiming the air wall at the ground, and it kind of did like this mini explosion and stuff. So I think that'd be a pretty cool yellow and red attack for him, and animation wise, I think it would be really cool to see. Moving on to his level 1, I have it where he would kind of like raise his arm up into the air and then drop it, and then basically a thunderbolt would come from the sky in front of him, and when it hits the ground, it will cause a small explosion. So yeah, I think that's a cool level 1, because even though it's fast, I mean, you can picture it doing like a lot of damage, because a thunderbolt just dropping from the sky, and if it hits the opponent and then causes like an explosion afterwards, I think you can picture a pretty good level 1 from that. Not to mention it has kind of like an AoE effect, so even if the lightning bolt misses, the explosion it causes when it hits the ground will still do some damage as well and kind of like knock the opponent away. So I think that's a pretty cool level 1. Not to mention, again, it is another one of his quirks and stuff like that, which is like the weather manipulation kind of thing, where he can drop like, you know, thunderbolts from the sky or change up the weather and stuff. So again, I think it's really cool that it's a reference to one of his quirks as well. And moving on to his level 2 animation. For his level 2, I have it where the animation begins with 9 walking up slowly towards the opponent, who would then try to attack him with a punch. His eyes would kind of like glow, like 9's eyes would start to glow, and then he would block the attack with his air wall, and then he would knock them away, knocking them into the air. He would then start firing lasers from his fingertips at the opponent, and then the camera would cut to the opponent, who is now getting pierced by the lasers multiple times. The camera would then cut back to 9, who has like purple lightning coming off of him now, and then he would say something like playtime is over, and then he would begin to spin, causing a tornado that would, you know, head towards the opponent, who is now falling out of the sky, recovering from the lasers, and the tornado would suck up the opponent, taking them back into the air, causing more of the level 2 damage. 9 would then lift both of his arms into the air and drop them, and basically it would cause a thunderbolt to fall from the sky into the center of the tornado, which would cause an explosion, finishing the level 2 animation. So overall, I think this level 2 is pretty awesome, because Well, first off, the little subtle detail with like Nine's like eyes glowing because he's kind of like scanning the threat that's about to attack him and stuff, I think that'd be pretty cool because again, that's one of his quirks. But we also get to see a ton of his other quirks, like his lasers from his fingertips again. We also get to see the weather manipulation, and just overall I think it'd be pretty cool. Not to mention, like, we actually get to see him create a tornado and stuff, and we hear his like signature like catchphrase like playtime is over and stuff, with like the lightning coming off of him, like how it looked in the movie and stuff. And just overall I think it's a cool level too because it combines like a ton of his quirks into like one cool animation, and I just think it'd be pretty cool to see. So that is my moveset for 9. I think 9 would be an awesome addition because he's intimidating. He has like a ton of different quirks, which could lead to like a ton of different playstyles and stuff. And I think the animation with him would be pretty cool and stuff. But seeing that we haven't gotten a movie character yet is kind of like, okay, it's kind of like up in the air if he will get added or not because we haven't gotten any movie characters. But I think the movie characters should be added because, or at least have the chance of being added, because I think the movies are pretty memorable and they're a lot of fun, and they introduce some really cool characters like 9. So I think they should have a chance of being in the game. But overall, I think 9 is a cool character, and I hope he comes into the game. And yeah, that is my moveset for 9. But if you guys would like to see a specific character in the series, then let me know down in the comments below. I'd be happy to try to create a moveset for that character. And if you guys did enjoy, please like and subscribe. That would be amazing. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.